guard retention. So I'm not actually going to attack from guard much in this video. I'm actually going to just retain my guard. So what I mean by retain my guard is my partner's going to try and pass the line of my feet and separate my knee to elbow to pin me in side control or mount, or knee on belly. So when I'm retaining my guard, I'm keeping my partner in front of me where both of my legs are between us or around my partner. So the common theme and principles in retaining your guard is you want to keep your knees tight to your shoulders so that your knee and elbow space is closed off. The number one thing that your partner is doing, if you remember anything from the video, is my partner cannot get inside my knee to elbow space. If they get inside there, they're going to be able to pin me down. So knowing that, we need to keep that space shut down at all times. So a common thing that people do when they're brand new, when somebody tries to get around their legs and pin them, is they're going to try and plant their feet in bench press. So that's the polar opposite of what we actually want to do, because when we put our feet on the ground, we can no longer have our feet connected to our opponent. The other thing is it separates your knee and elbow space. So when you plant your feet on the ground, you're actually bringing your knees away from your chest, and you're making it easy for your partner to keep your knees away from your chest as they circle around your legs. So you'll see a lot in this video. I'm going to be constantly keeping my feet pointing at my partner. So that's the first layer. When they try and control my ankles, I'm going to be circling my feet to the inside, either under or over, so that I can get my feet to the biceps. If I can get my feet to the biceps, they no longer can control my legs. My legs are free, and I can control their arms with my legs. My partner is going to try and get inside position on my ankles or my knees to be able to control my legs, point them away, and get past the feet so that they can start opening that knee to elbow space. So let's just start the video here. So immediately, as I said, L is controlling my feet here. I should say ankles, but I mean indirectly he's controlling my feet. So L wants to get my feet pointed away from him here. So he gets them pointed away by stuffing it underneath his body. So he's gotten past the line of my feet. However, because I kept my knee to my chest here, I'm going to be able to push L away with my knee, make space, and get my feet back between us. So this is another way that somebody might try and pass your guard here. So one way is they'll try and pass to your side, but if they feel like the knee and elbow space is not open from the side, they might try and go all the way over your head. So let's just back up here a little bit. So L tries to get inside my knee to elbow space here, but he realizes that he's not going to be able to get inside there. So one option he has is circle over my head and try and push my knees out that way. So as you see, even though he's above my head, I'm keeping my knees tight to my chest here. And now my goal is either to get a knee inside of his hips or shoulders, or I'm going to try and get a foot attached to him so that I can spin myself back around and face him again. Here. So I got my foot back on him and I just spun back to facing him again. One thing you don't want to happen when you're in that like upside down position is you don't want to hang out there. Your opponent has the advantage of gravity where they can make your legs carry weight and eventually separate your knee and elbow space away. So the second I stop the guard pass, I want to rotate back to facing my partner where I'm in a better position. So again, he's trying to control my feet. He passes my feet line again, and now he's met with my knees and my elbows and hands here. So he's passed one layer of my guard, but because I was positionally sound, I'm able to use the next layer, which is my knees and hands. Here, he's trying to control my feet again. So again, He realizes passing right directly to my side is hard, so he's going above my head here again. So I'm ready to go upside down. If he would have continued going, I would have went upside down, but he decided to go back towards my legs. Again, he's past my feet line. Now he's trying to clear my knees here. So my arms right now are locked out to act as placeholders for if he does get a knee or both knees out. If he gets them out, I can still fight to get them back in without him closing the distance here because of my arms being in the middle. So again, he passed towards my head again because he felt like he couldn't push my knees out from the side. So he goes towards my head, and immediately I'm going upside down, and I'm catching him by opening my legs and catching him by swinging my legs on both sides of his body here, putting him back in my guard, spinning. So again, he's trying to control my ankles here. He passes my feet. I use my knee to clear him out. He's kind of hanging out in that in-between position too. So when you're playing on bottom here and they're hanging out in this in-between position, you can either try and get your legs back between you, or you can just force them above your head by putting yourself in that position instead of waiting for them to pass, which I do here. So again, you can see that my knees and elbows are always tight to my side here, so there's no opening for him just to easily pass without forcing that position open. He clears my feet here. He tries to get inside, but he can't penetrate past my knees and hands. Again, he passes my feet. My knees are in the way. So right here, he gets pretty darn close to actually passing my guard. He's still not inside my knee to elbow space. All of his weight is kind of over my head here. So I realize that if I don't regain my guard, he's going to control my head and I'm going to get past. So what I do is I hide my head by going to the north-south position here. Right here. So now my head is hidden from his arms. And now I can start getting my knees and my legs in from a different angle where I have a little bit more space. Let's just go back here. So from here, I don't really have that much space to get my knees inside of my partner's hips or shoulders or my feet. However, when I spin to the upside down position, my hips go further away, and now you see that there's a lot more space now for me to either get my legs around his arms or my knees inside of his shoulders here to be able to get my guard back. So Al's doing a good job controlling my feet, not letting me put my feet on him here. I'm not really pummeling my legs too much. So let's just see here what happened here. So in the beginning, I'm kind of taking it a little bit more easy and letting him get a little deeper into controlling my legs and stuff like that. But just a second here. So as you see here, I got turn away. Let's just go back even like one more second here. Right here. Look at my knees. Both of my knees are facing the Hayabusa sign here. When by rights, I want my knees facing my partner, or at the very minimum, facing the ceiling, so I can actually use my outside leg and touch them with it. Facing away like this, my feet can no longer make contact with him, so immediately I pull myself out from underneath and I go to that upside down position. And he runs away, and I get my guard back. So again, we're in this position of battling for the feet position. So you can see here I'm circling my feet. It makes it a lot harder. I'm trying to get my feet to the inside of his biceps where he can't control. Alright, let's go back here for a second. So this time, he controls my feet and turns my feet away. There's no way I'm going to be able to turn and face here. as you see, my feet are completely turned away. So anytime that this happens, one really good way to reset your legs is to just go with it and go upside down and then swing your leg all the way back around and face your partner again. So I have one knee inside here, but he's doing a good job of pushing my knee out and closing the space here. So we talked about this before, where when my partner can't get inside that space from the side control, he's going to go over my head. Well, when you're on bottom, it's kind of a similar idea. If I feel like I'm going to start losing the position where they're beside me, getting inside that knee to elbow space, I'm going to move that space away from them and go with the push and go upside down. And then boom, now I got a knee inside the shoulder where I can start spinning back to facing and clearing them out and building my layers of guard back. Again, I'm just getting the inside position back with my feet at all times. So this is a common position right here, what Elle was doing, and I might have went over this actually in between these rolls, where it's an inside hip post. So Elle's right arm, his goal with that right arm is to grab my floating rib and flare his elbow. What he's trying to accomplish with that is his elbow position can block out my second leg on the outside here. If I can't get that outside leg on my partner, I'm going to have a hard time being able to regain that inside leg, right? So there's going to be a constant battle when he does this hip post of me either getting my foot over or under to the inside, or using my knee shield, which is my knee, either under or over that arm to regain that position. Because what I don't want is for him to shut down both of my legs, which is what would happen if he passes the inside leg here and shuts down my outside leg. He would be essentially past both my legs, right? So I don't want that to happen. So here, so he's keeping his head nice and low to try and avoid me being able to bring my foot over top and inside. But as you can see, I'm keeping his head elevated as much as possible with my elbow here to give me space. Again, there's that hip post. He's trying to bring his head down, but I pummel back to the inside position with my foot. Again, he's trying to hip post, but I'm not allowing him to get close enough with his head to be able to close off that space. Every time he brings his head down, I'm meeting him at the shoulders with my hands, or on his head like this. Again. So this is something else that I didn't really go over too. It's called self-framing. So anytime he tries to turn my legs away and I'm not putting my hands on him, I'm putting my hands on my own legs so he can't turn my hips away. So here we're getting to that in-between stage here where he's starting to going past my shoulder line here where it's towards my head. If I hang out here too much, I'm in that gray area where it's hard for me to use my legs in the position I am, but he's not quite all the way to north-south. So a lot of time what I'll do is I'll force the parallel position where my head is underneath in north-south. He goes back towards my legs. He starts circling towards my head. So at this point I'm probably, yeah, here it is. Oh, no. It was close though. I was about to go upside down again. Anytime I feel like they're starting to go towards that shoulder line, going upside down is my best option. Now some of you are going to say, well, I'm not that flexible and I can't do that. Well, that's going to make your guard retention have one less layer, right? So if you're not flexible enough to just go upside down on your back and bringing your knees to your chest, your next best option is going to be to turn to turtle. Which is like essentially going to your knees, but there's more threats with turning to your knees because your back is exposed and your neck is exposed to chokes, right? But if you're not as flexible, then that would be your option instead of going upside down. I'm just talking about how I had a hip cramp there, I think. Just going to skip that a little bit. Alright. So again, you can see he's controlling my feet. Trying to pass my feet so that he can get to the side and start pushing my knees out. And again, he turned me away. I spin upside down and swing the leg across. Going with the motion there. Passes my feet. Goes towards my head. I go upside down. So when I'm upside down like this and there's this much space between us, I'm essentially just trying to put a foot on him or across his body just to give me an anchor point to be able to spin myself back around and face here. Right here, there's my anchor point. Now I'm spun and faced him again. Again, he passes my legs towards my head, upside down, knees to my chest, anchor point, spin. Alright, now I'm going to actually start gripping my partner a little bit. I'm not going full ham here or anything like that, but I am trying to make it more difficult for him. So right away, I'm just tying up my partner. I want at least 3 grips, 4 if even better. So anytime that I'm able to tie up my partner with 3-4 grips, that means when my partner moves, my body follows with them. When I have no grips, they can move everywhere and I have to try and follow myself. But when I have 3-4 grips on my partner, when they move, I move with them. And at any point, I can start off balancing for sweeps, submissions, back takes, where they have to start deleting these grips so that they can start moving without me following them and attacking them, right? So it becomes a battle of grips, basically. So here, he's trying to get inside position. Constant knee to elbows, as you can see here. I get grips, I off balance here. I start trying to go around the corner. Does a good job of not allowing me to knock him over. So now I'm lifting his ankles, spinning underneath to try and take his back or entangle his legs. I think here I just let go. Yeah. So like I said, I'm not trying too hard here. So he's kind of being hesitant with controlling my grips here. Because every time he grabs... So that's another thing I never talked about. Anytime that I bring my knees to my chest, when he tries to grab my legs, it forces him to have to get closer, where now when he grabs me, I can grab him back. If my legs were way far away from my body, 1, they'd be weaker. But 2, I wouldn't be able to grab them back if they grab my legs. But when they're close to my body, now when he grabs me, I can grab him back. So my hands are on my knees, ready to do kickstands. If he tries to turn me away. Oh, he caught me sleeping there. So let's stop here for a second. So you'll see this a lot. If he's too far away for me to post my hands somewhere on his body and make grips on him, my hands will be on my own outside of my knees here. So if L tries to throw my legs to one side or the other, I have my arms like a kickstand going into the ground to avoid my hips facing away from my partner. If my hips face away, I can't play guard, right? So they kind of reinforce my hips in place so that I can always face my partner no matter what. Again, he's trying to get to the inside position of my legs. I'm shutting him down after he passes my feet. Again, here, he's completely over my shoulder line now. Unless I'm super flexible, there's no way I'm going to be able to use my knees to try and push him away from here with this angle. So I'm going to swing upside down, catch him with my legs, and now from here I have more space now to be able to use my legs to stop him and keep them between us, and then get an anchor point and spin and face like I just did there. Again, he's past the line of my feet, but I have grips on him now. Upside down, he runs away. Again, when you get grips on them, you're able to off balance and attack when you don't have grips, you can't do that. So always trying to build your grips. I'm just kind of playing around with them, so I'm not gripping as much as you should. Oh, there we go. Again, he tries to slide through my guard. I grip him, spin under, and he falls down. So that's the end of the retention drill here. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of like an idea of like what I'm doing when I'm trying to retain my guard. So the main ideas is always keep your knees to your chest. Try and get your feet to the biceps so that your legs are controlling their arms, not the other way around. And then if they do make angles on you, you're constantly trying to get your feet or your knees back inside so that you can square back up. If they pass towards your shoulder line, then you're going to want to go upside down, get your legs between you where you have more space between your hips, and then get an anchor point and spin back and face, right? So that's, in a nutshell, what we're doing when we're trying to retain our guard.